Good morning, friends. Today I will be talking about a poem by Shakespeare. You know that Shakespeare has written about 154 sonnets, and of these sonnets, today we are going to learn sonnet number 29. Now, a question may be asked by the students, what is a sonnet? Let me tell you that a sonnet is a simple poem of 14 lines which has rhythm or regular rhythm. Now, let me tell you something about William Shakespeare first in brief. William Shakespeare was one of the greatest writers in the world, as you know. He was a great poet, and as I told you that he has written 154 sonnets. So he remains to be one of the great sonneteers in English literature. Now we have sonnet 29 to be studied. Now it is said that most of his sonnets are addressed to a young friend. He speaks about his friend, he praises his friend, and quite a few sonnets are addressed to a dark lady. Now, the lady is described as dark, maybe because the world does not know who the lady is. Some say that she must be his wife. Some are of the opinion that she must be his beloved. And therefore, the identity of the lady is mysterious, and therefore she is described to be a dark lady. Now, this sonnet number 29 is about love, about platonic love, spiritual love. Now, in the first stanza or in the first 4 lines, the poet says that he is without friends, he is without fortune, he has no good luck. Let me read these 4 lines for you. When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate. Now he says that he has disgrace of fortune. That is, he is unfortunate. He is ill-fated. And in the eyes of the people, he is very unfortunate because he says that he is without friends and he is without good luck. He also says that he is unhappy because he is unfortunate, and he curses his fate for this. He feels as if he is an outcast. he has been outcast by society. So you can see that the poem begins with rather unhappy mood. The poem begins with melancholic mood. In the next four lines, he says, let me read the lines for you. Wishing me like to no one rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with what I most enjoy, contented least. Now he says that he can see that many people are more fortunate than himself. Many of his friends are rich, are more fortunate than him. So somewhere he tries to compare himself with others and finds that others are more fortunate, others are richer than him, others have more friends than he has. So he says that desiring this man's art and that man's scope. He also finds himself to be less talented than others. Maybe he says that he has less scope than others. So you can see that the poet is unhappy not only because he finds himself to be unfortunate, but also because he has few friends. He has you can see that he says he has no talent, no intelligence. Let me read the next four lines. Yet in these thoughts myself about almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state, like to the lark at break of day arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. Now in these four lines, he says that though I find myself to be less fortunate, though I find myself to be unhappy, but if I remember you, then my heart is full of joy. I become happy once again. He says that when I compare myself with other people, I find that they are more talented, they are more fortunate, and they have more friends than I have got. But if I happen to remember you, then I can say that my heart is filled with happiness, is filled with joy. And he says that when he is very happy, then he finds himself to be as happy as the skylark. You know that the skylark is a bird which is always singing, when flying in the sky. So he finds himself to be like the skylark when he remembers his friend. The last two lines of the sonnet go like this. For the sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings. You can say that The last two lines is the climax, or you can say that the last two lines is the gist of this sonnet. Now he says that I have my love. The poet says that he has his love, he has his beloved, and when he remembers his beloved, then his heart is full of happiness, his heart is full of joy, and then he feels that he is happier than a king. He is more fortunate than a king, because we know that a king is supposed to be the happiest and perhaps the richest and the most unfortunate person in the world. But in these two lines, the poet says that when he remembers his love, he remembers his beloved, then he does not like to exchange his state with that of a king, because he finds himself to be the happiest, the most unfortunate, the richest, perhaps more than the king himself. So you can see that the sonnet starts with unhappy mood, starts with a melancholic mood, and ends with or ends on a happier note. As I told you in the beginning, that Shakespeare has written 154 sonnets, and most of his sonnets are addressed to his beloved friend, faithful friend. This is sonnet number 29. So this is also addressed to his faithful friend. And he says that when he remembers the love of his friend, then he feels himself to be richer and more fortunate than a king himself. So in this sonnet, he laments his unhappy state. He laments his misfortunes. Now let me repeat. Now, why does he think himself to be misfortunate or unfortunate? He finds himself to be unfortunate because he says that he finds himself to be less intelligent, then unfortunate. He also says that he has very few friends, and therefore he curses heaven, he curses his fate. So in the beginning, the sonnet, the mood of the sonnet is unhappy, but towards the end of the sonnet we can see that the poet becomes happier again, and he wants to say that maybe he has, maybe he is less talented, maybe he has few friends, maybe because maybe he has no good luck, but he has his love, he has his faithful friend, and the faithful friend, when he remembers his faithful friend, his heart is filled with joy again, once again. So in this short video, I have tried to teach you Shakespeare's sonnet, sonnet 29, and you can see that this sonnet is prescribed for the study in the first term of first year students of language and literature. So thank you once again. So listen to the video carefully And if you like the video, or if you have some suggestions, you can write to me. You can write post your comments on the WhatsApp group, or you can directly talk to me over the telephone. Thank you, friends. Thank you once again. Have a good day.